Another banger. Ho, ha, 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 ha. You know what? I enjoyed today's cross-examination. You know, let me tell you this. The purpose of the state is to prove beyond reasonable doubt that whosoever person that they bring before the court is guilty. So they must prove that beyond reasonable doubt. It is their duty in court, right? The responsibility of the defense is to poke holes and cause more doubt about that. Do you see now? These ones, they want to prove beyond reasonable doubt, while these ones, they are poking holes and posing more doubt to the evidence that is being brought by the state. In this case, you will remember, we are talking about Senzo Meyiwa. Who killed Senzo Meyiwa? But in this particular era or this week, we are focusing on the crime scene. Now, in today's cross-examination, the defense took a strategy of just focusing on two things, right? It was about the packaging of evidence and also the evidence itself. The person that did the damage, mostly it is Advocate Mnisi, who focused on the packaging of the information, packaging of exhibits, while Advocate Khumalo focused largely on the exhibit itself. I'm going to give an example about this so that you can understand where we're going with this thing, right? Advocate Mnisi, when I say he focused on the packaging of exhibits, right? You will recall every time when you, even in the movies, when SAPS, when police are collecting evidence, they usually use transparent plastic, so much so that you can see what is inside the evidence, right? What is inside the plastic bag or the exhibit bag, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, right. So the example here is this one. You see these two things? These are two different containers. With this one, you can see what is inside. While this one, I am the one who have to tell you what is inside, right? So what if the liquid inside this is poison, but I say it's milk? That is the argument that Advocate Numalo brought. I was like, wow, wow, wow. So you are the one that tells us what was inside this. We don't know. There's no evidence that can back you up to say, inside this, there is milk, right? We don't have the evidence. You are the one who knows what inside this. If you don't understand what I'm saying, how do you pack things on a brown envelope instead of packing things on a transparent things that we normally or we are acquainted to? We're gonna come to Advocate Khumalo, right? They were cross-examining look, it's Lieutenant Commander Lieutenant Commander Thobeka Mhlahlo. I'm gonna give you a little bit of profile about her as well. But this episode, no. You know what? You need to watch this video till the end, and I break it down for you. Wow, super! I'm pleased. But I'm pleased. So I'm about to share with you. As I was sent to come and go and gather this information, I'm about to share, provided that you are interested. Are you interested to know more about all of this? Then please stick around. As you stick around, there's only one favor that I'm requesting from you guys, and that favor is that you subscribe, you like the video, and you do comment in the comment section below. Why do you need to do all of these nice things, good people? You need to do it because doing it does help out a lot when it comes to the YouTube algorithm to promote and spread this video to as many people as possible. Guys, you need to watch this video till the end. Guys, you need to watch the ads. That's how you financially contribute to this channel. Also, guys, you need to like the video. You know why you need to do that? It tells the algorithm all these three things. It helps the algorithm to push this video to more people. So the power is in your hands. Please exercise that power in favor of this video. We want our video to get to 100,000 views. You know what I'm saying? The power is in your hands. To begin with. Alright. So if you don't know, this channel, the people who are subscribing to this channel, we are called the tribe. The most intelligent people on planet Earth. If you don't believe me, read the comments. You will see that these people are very intelligent. You know what I'm saying? So become a member. If you are not yet subscribed, subscribe. But you need to subscribe now so that you can be part of the tribe. This tribe is composed of people who are coming from in all different walks of life. Others are from South Africa, Botswana, Swaziland, I've got Namibia, I've got Malaysia, I've got Australia, I've got England, I've got United States of America, we've got Israel, like we've got a lot of people live in China. I do have people from China who are watching this channel. So you need to become a member, and you know, guys, I don't know. I think you will see yourself that you need to be part of this. But yeah, okay, let's start here. We have Lieutenant Tobeka Mhlahla, who was with Umsia. Now, let me remind you here. I told you in my introduction that the purpose of the state is to prove a case beyond reasonable doubt. Now, listen to this word. Focus on that word, beyond reasonable doubt. I'm going to ask you a question. Don't you think we have a lot of doubts about the people that are on the stand, the evidence, the crime scene? You know what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm going? There's already a lot of doubts that they are working against. On top of that, they've got a defense that have done exceptionally well. Now, in this defense, you've got Advocate Ramasipile, Advocate Mnisi. They sit like this. Advocate Ramasipile, he's always the first one. The next one is Advocate Mnisi. The third one is Advocate Ngumalo. The fourth one is Advocate Mshololo. Advocate Ramasipile today, that guy is very good in laying the foundation. He takes the stand and then he follows them. He questioned Lieutenant Tobeka Mhlahla around the procedure in how things are done in collecting evidence. He follows that line properly. He comes with here nicely and he lays the foundation. He's not deep into the subject. I'm gonna get into some of the things that he said and all the stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then comes Advocate Mnisi. That guy, he then said, no, you know what? I'm going to focus on the packaging of information, packaging of exhibits. Like I said, I'm going to show you this example. So his argument is, why is it that you guys don't look in the collection of collection of exhibits in the Mayiwa case? We saw you guys using brown envelopes. Why not this? The transparent envelopes where we can see the exhibit inside. I don't know if you see what I'm saying. In other words, if you've got these two things, according to Advocate Mnisi, his approach was, if you've got these two things, right? If I put the liquid inside, I take the liquid inside here and I put it here. So if the liquid is here, you are most likely to see what is inside, right? As you can see my finger on the other side, it is moving, right? It tells you that you can see what is on the other side because this is a transparent thing. Let me put it back, right? That was the argument from Advocate Mnisi. But as opposed to this one, this we have faith. We don't know what is inside. We have faith that what is inside is milk. But we are not sure whether it's milk or not. It becomes worse if what is inside or whosoever packaged this was just two questionable individuals. There is not much of evidence that we can rely on to say that really there's milk here. You know what I'm saying? Safer milk to make matters worse. That is the approach that he took. Having made that example, the approach is, or the strategy is, it was Mosia who it was Mosia and Thabo Mosia, Warrant Officer Thabo Mosia, and now Lieutenant Tobeka Mhlahla, who were busy on the crime scene. The question was, why did you use the brown envelope? Why didn't you use the one that we all know? Which these are the words from Advocate Mnisi. Why didn't you use the ones that we know, which are coming from a forensic lab? They are proven. There is a reason. They are tested, and there's a reason why we have this transparent one, which are tested in laboratory, right, and approved. You know what I'm saying? They are approved. Why use a brown envelope later on you taking what is in the brown envelope and then you wanna put it in what is transparent. You know what I'm saying? He's questioning that, and his questions, now listen, get this straight. What he was questioning was that there is a possibility that you can swap this. If these things are not here, if they are not in a transparent thing where it's supposed to be in. Remember that the defenses, they are also questioning who transported the files. You know what I'm saying? So if you've got two individuals, Mosia, who's questionable himself, he's the transporter of the file at some point, then the chances of this corruption to have occurred, the chances are very high. You know what I'm saying? That is where the defense we look. That is why even launch an appeal that they wanna cross-examine the package, the sealing and the packaging of evidence, because they can see that the SAPS is roping us there. That is where they swapped evidence. You know what I'm saying? So Advocate Mnisi focused on that. I could see. Now, the result after he cross-examined Lieutenant Tobeka Mhlahlo, in the end, he makes an application to the court. And the application is that they are going to find an expert that understands a procedure that must be taken in the collection of evidence. You know why that is important to remember these two examples, right? If the expert can dispute this and say we shouldn't use this because it's not transparent, it's not supposed to be used, and that we should be using this, then they will win this beyond reasonable doubt. Right now they've managed to poke holes, but now they have launched an application where they will allow the process to continue, but at the end they will then call the expert to come and explain how evidence is to be gathered by the SAPS. The expert will break down the process in which an evidence is gathered. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow. We are still gonna come to Advocate Mnisi, who did a great job. You know what I'm saying? Do you remember this example, right? Keep this example in mind as we are talking about, as we will now talk about Advocate Mnisi. But in the meanwhile, we are still with Advocate Mnisi as well. So every question that was asked today, it was in relation to that as well, right? So we saw the likes of Ramasipile. My laptop is just disturbing me a little bit now. So we saw Abo Ramasipile asking the question to same as laying the foundation to say, ask me, look, you are a forensic expert, right? And then she agrees that she's a forensic expert and blah, blah, blah. She's got 20 years of experience in this. Then Advocate Ramasipile was asking questions as to when they were investigating the crime scene, where did they start? You know, that's why I'm saying he was busy laying the foundation to say that now if you understand how the foundation was laid, then you will understand how Advocate Mnisi climbed into it and how Advocate Nxumalo climbed into it. Let me show you the point that Advocate Nxumalo worked on is this one. Advocate Ramasipile, the two responding officer and Mosia testify they searched the countertop, but they didn't locate any projectile. You look any projectile you located, and the local Lieutenant Mhlahlo couldn't answer that question. Now, please remember this point because we will come back to this point. This is the point where you've got first officers that searched the crime scene and found nothing. Then later on, you've got another officers that searched the very same crime scene and found an evidence. Do you see now where we're going? Do you see why they are poking hole into this thing? It became so interesting, but the foundation is laid by Advocate Ramasipile is very, very, very good in that, right? Uthi-ke, Advocate Laura Masipile, one of the questions that he asked was, can Ngache testify that in halfway he found a victim lying? Where you told about the area for position of possible DNA analysis, and then the advocate says no. She said no, I was not told. Right. So then he asked the question around. This is where the projectile was found. What attracted you to the glass jar where you found the bullet head? Right. Do you see now where I'm saying he was very good in laying the foundation? Because Advocate Mngumalo works very well on that. He dwelt on that point as well. We saw the damage on the door and looked to see if a bullet went to the door and blah blah blah, but we couldn't see where the bullet was. Then Advocate Ramasipile says, the projectile you found, did it have any blood stains on it? Mhlahlo says it didn't have any. I don't know if you see where we're going with this thing. Right here. Okay, here's an example. This is something. This is milk. There's milk inside. So if I were to put an object here that will penetrate from this entrance to this exit, that object must somehow have something that reflects to say, or it must be covered by the milk inside. You know, there must be that element of milk in that object, right? Do you see where we're going with this? In other words, it can't be that you are hit by a bullet from this point to that point, yet you find a bullet that is clean without even stains of blood. So you understand the question where we're going with this question? I hope you get where we're going with this question, right? It was very interesting, very interesting. He was just asking the basic, simple questions. Advocate Ramasipile, did you observe any blood stain by the kitchen door? Mhlahlo says no. Ramasipile, by the place, by the place and by the glass jar, where did you find the bullet head? Mhlahlo says, no, man, I'm not. I don't know. She gave an answer that I didn't understand, right? And so we're gonna go into this one. It was very, very quite telling, very interesting. Yeah. So allow me to dive into a little bit of what he said about Zandi Khumalo. You will remember that Zandi Khumalo told a story of how the bullet hit the ground, and after hitting the ground, she was then injured by the spark. You know what I'm saying? And yes, so then they asked this question. Advocate Ramasipile asked this question. Do you remember this one? Do you remember giving that background? He asked this question. Zandile Khumalo said she got injured on her foot when the first bullet went off. Were any photo taken of that incident? Mhlahlo says, I have no knowledge of that. Okay. After then that foundation was properly laid, there comes Advocate Mnisi then. Then Advocate Mnisi, he starts questioning what investigation did Mangena do? You know what I'm saying? He wants to know who participated and what were their responsibilities. And Mhlahlo then says, no, that's why now I saw that Mhlahlo, she's running away. Between Zandi Khumalo and Lieutenant Mhlahlo. The difference is that this one is working for an organization and there is a senior member in the SAPS. That's the difference. Otherwise, their arrogancy, their rudeness is the same. At first, when it started, I thought she was very respectful. And as the cross-examinations began, you could see that this woman is arrogant. You could sense the arrogance, but the problem, she did not want to continue with her arrogance. It's because she knows that she can be disciplined by the organization, the SAPS, because she will be bringing the name of the SAPS into dispute, right? Disrespect, yeah? That word, yeah. So she then resulted in what we call it evasive. Now, evasive is when I ask questions that will betray you, but you choose to either say, I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You see such questions like that when you were asked, were you in Cape Town? Instead of answering yes or no, you ask, why are you asking whether I'm in Cape Town or not? Why don't you tell me what you want to hear and then ask me later on? You see, that person always have something to hide, but they just do not want to be exposed. They just want to know where you're going first, and then they can answer that. That's what we saw with that's what we saw with Lieutenant Mhlahlo Thobeka. She's not intelligent. The way she answered those questions, it did not portray a sense of intelligence, but it just portrayed a person that was more willing to evasive and run away from the question as much as possible, which it creates doubts, and we can't have credibility on you if you keep doing like that. But again, Nisi says, no, I'm not gonna give up. Then Mangena will come and testify, and I'm not gonna talk about Mangena, blah blah blah. And then Nisi says, but look, I like that question when Nisi was asking to say, did Mangena arrive with his own photography? This woman, she's not willing to divulge that information, and Nisi, he works alone. If you want more questions, go ask her, because no. So then Nisi asks some of the questions as a forensic investigator and a photographer. So as a forensic investigator and a photographer, then Mhlahlo says also a fingerprint investigator. Yeah. So then Nisi asks, what instrument did you use in that crime scene? And then she named that she used light sources, camera, measuring tape, and comb and all the stuff. Now, I like that as well, because when he was asking about Mangena and all the stuff, who was working with Mangena, this is where he was going. Remember that there were two type of police divisions that were there. I think there was a task team and whatever, you know what I'm saying? So you wanted to find out who was doing what, when. To get a point. Because the crime scene was tampered with. To get a point. So then Lieutenant, she ran away, broad daylight. She will not answer that question. And you could tell that, no man, there's more here. You know what I'm saying? You could see that, nah. There's more here. She was busy running away. So, okay, I'm not going to focus largely on what I've just told you. I've already told you that the ultimate point that Advocate Nisi was working upon was to prove that there is no credibility, and we can't prove beyond reasonable doubt that they did not swap the evidence, because what if the bullet that was found to have been used by the intruders was placed on purpose? And if you get that, then you will see where we're going with that. Right? Let me jump. Let us jump now into. But before we jump into this one, this is now me showing you why I'm saying whatever I say. You set the protocol for exhibit to put box envelope before exhibit back. Right? You see those ones there? It's like I'm packaging, something in a brown envelope before this white and transparent thing. To get a point. Do you see most where we're going? That was the line of thought from Advocate Nisi, questioning the packaging of the exhibits, and what a job done! What a job done by Advocate Nisi. And after that, I was like, wow, yeah. Now I always see Amapoisa using police. I've always seen them using the transparent one. Why in this case they used brown envelope to transport evidence? So when they were now taking those brown envelope into the white one, chances are they might have swapped things even then. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't you use the ones that we know? And then the answer from Lieutenant was like, no, but as long as the exhibit is safe, it does not matter whether the brown envelope or the transparent envelope. As long as the exhibit is safe, it does not matter it does not matter the container. What matters is what is inside. To see where we're going. But we have already established that we can't trust. Because if it's only you who saw what was inside, why are we supposed to take your word? You know, you can even write lie and say, what is inside this water? But if you put it in this transparent thing where everybody can see, chances are when you place it down there, whereas people are passing, they're able to say, oh, no, I saw what was inside this bottle. You know, it was milk. Do you see the point? That is where Advocate Mnisi took this thing. Yeah, and it was quite interesting, Buffett. Yo, quite interesting, quite interesting. I put it to you, so that there is no need that any exhibit found on the scene should be put in an envelope before it is put in a forensic bag. That is the point that I've already exhausted. I'm just proving to you that I don't want to read everything that was there, because every question that was asked there, it was leading towards the points that I've just told you. I'm also impressed with that as well. But again, sorry guys. Now let's get into Advocate Zithulele Nxumalo. And then Zithulele Nxumalo, he takes this thing into now. Do you remember the point that I said? Please remember this point. The first police that searched the crime scene did not find an evidence, right? Then when the Musia and Lieutenant Tobeka Mhlahlo came and they found an evidence, he asked this simple yet basic question and say, I don't know how best can I demonstrate this one. Let me use my laptop. His question is to see that there is this red thing here, right? You see this red thing? To see if there's this red thing here, do you need to be an expert, or all you need to do is just to have normal eyes and that's it, right? He asked that question. I was like, where is he going with this question? And then later on I understood that, oh, this is where he's going with this question, to say if the first police officers arrived at the crime scene and they did not find this, how is it that on the very same place you found it? Is it because you are experts, so that you've got different eyes that the other ones doesn't have, or the way you look at things is different than the way? Do you see where we were channeling this? And I was like, he asked that question. I'm like, where is this guy going? Huh? And then it's like, then she became so evasive. And then, you know what I'm saying? I mixed my notes here. Nxumalo asked this question to say, Nxumalo is now working on what Mnisi had said. And then he asked this question. I want to know, when you package, remember that the question today was about also the packaging of this as well. So Advocate Nxumalo went back into this and said, listen, I need to remember that the question here is, if you are telling us that there's milk here and we can't prove that there's milk here, you can't expect us to believe just because it's you, right? At least you must show us the evidence that this is how I filled in milk. This is the process, and this is the picture of videos of me filling up this thing. That is why I'm saying there's milk. Do you see where we're going? Hence he asked the question, before you seal the evidence back, did you take any pictures before, as it was open and as you were filling up the exhibits you found on the crime scene? Did you take any pictures? And I'm like, wow, I see where we're going now. I see where we're going. And then she's like, no, there's no, I didn't take any pictures. I'm like, okay. Do you see now where we're going? This thing you see now, here, it leaves you with a high probability that look, there was even if they did, even after placing something there, they will not, even if maybe the right thing that was placed there, there was still much possibility that they could have swapped things along the way. Because we don't have an evidence, you know what I'm saying? One that can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Remember in my intro I say, the court must prove, or the state must prove beyond reasonable doubt that this person must be convicted. But in this case, can you tell me that we can prove beyond reasonable doubt that these people, they first put an exhibit in a brown envelope, then later on they take that brown envelope? I'm doing advert for this company, they didn't pay me. Hey, they first put an exhibit in a brown envelope. After that, they take this exhibit that people who were in the crime scene couldn't even see what was inside. Later on, they put it in a transparent bag and they are expecting us to trust them because they are police. I'm going somewhere with the statement. You will see why Umnisi mentions that you are expecting us to trust you just because you are police. We work with evidence here. We don't work with, we don't trust badges. We work with evidence. I was like, wow. What's up? So, the judge, we will spend the whole day until President Mandela comes in. Nisi, who always object the judge and said, he is in heaven, my lord. I get the judge says Mandela, and we will argue this point until Mandela comes back. No, he's in heaven, my lord. He's not coming back. Okay, and then judge, I think he will come and say, Matota, Indonile. I think he is with Umka. In court, there's humor. There's this time for us to have there's this time for us to have this thing, laugh and all the stuff, and then go back to serious stuff. But nevertheless, here is also what was fascinating. The reason why Advocate Ngumalo, there's Tulele Ngumalo, he's focusing on, remember that first responded on the crime scene are police. They searched the crime scene, they found nothing. To remember that. And then these two, Musia and the Lieutenant Tobega, they found one projectile. Do you remember that? Here is the question. The question is, remember we are told that three bullets were fired, right? So then we need to find, on the crime scene, we must find 3 bullets. I'm going to make an example. There is no one, not even a single thief, that shoots a bullet on the air and wait for that cartridge or whatever and collect the cartridge and run away. It never happened. So here's an example. If a thief shoots a bullet on the ceiling, we then have to see the hole and trace the bullet. If a thug put a bullet on the wall, again we must be able to trace. You know, even if he shoots on the tiles, we must be able to trace the wall and find the bullet, right? If he shoots the cupboard, we must be able to trace that and find the bullet, because there must be a hole somewhere in this house. Follow the logic here. That is where Advocate Kumalo was. So we have 3 bullets that were fired in the house. 3 bullets, and these people could only find 1 bullet. The forensic expert, Lieutenant Tobega Mhlahlo Nomsia, they only found 1 projectile. Only 1 projectile. But 3 bullets were fired on that house. Do you see where we're going? Do you see the gist of the matter now? To say, wait a minute, what happened to the other 2 bullets there? Why didn't the forensic find these 2? The space, even the judge had said, Tumelo said, Toses said the same thing, Zandi Kumalo said the same thing, that the space is too small. So in a confined space like that, these intruders fired 3 bullets and they can only see 1. There is no trace of any bullet in the house. Do you remember my point when I say it must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt? Just from what I've just told you now, don't you think we've got doubts right there? It's a question. Don't you think we've got doubts right there? From what I saw, and the name Zitulele, it suits him. He's very quiet, that guy. But hey, he's going to ask you questions. Hey, Advocate Numan, hey, that guy's going to ask you questions. So from where I was seated, I could see where Advocate Numalo is actually going. And I must say the defense managed to plant more doubt in my head. And I was like, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Like, honestly speaking, it makes a lot of sense to say, no, man, no. Something is fishy here. And then Advocate Numalo put it to Lieutenant Tobega Msahlo to say, listen, you police, someone within the police planted the evidence there. And it can't be that the first people that searched the same scene didn't find anything. Now that there is the so-called expert. No, I'm like, do you remember the demonstration I made with my laptop? You can see this red button. You know what I'm saying? Let me minimize this. You can see this red button here. You don't need to be an expert to see this red button. Everybody can see it. Now the bullet here was found look, the projectile was found in a place that is as clear as this thing. Do you think you need to be an expert to find something here? Do you think you need to be an expert to find K here? No, you don't need to be an expert. That is what Advocate Zitulele Nxumalo was questioning today, to say, how is it that you find an evidence in a place where everybody could have found it, but they did not, and you are the ones that found it? Now, remember, you need to follow this case, because if you follow this case properly, you will understand where all these questions are emanating, right? Ntapseng, who was the second after Zandi Kumalo, testify in court that she's the one that found the projectile and gave it to the police. And the police said, nope, till now we did not see that. Do you see now? There's already a contradictions here. Now, after that the police did not find that, then the expert found it. Now, do you notice that now you have 3 stories about the same crime scene? 3 contradicting stories. Do you remember that, do you know that we are not, as citizens, we are not supposed to touch an exhibit until the police declares it safe for us to use? Do you know that? Okay, if you didn't know, now you know. But look, Makumalo touched a head that belonged to the suspect, right? And then gave it to the police. That is in accordance with the evidence given by Ntapseng. When the police were asked about that, the police says, "Bona, that did not happen." Did they say that happened? I think they said something around the word of, "We told her leave it like that," something like that. Now, it points back to the fact that a lot happened in that crime scene, right? Now, I want you to understand what are we working on here. Do you remember? And now we've got Lieutenant Tobega Msahlo. The person before Lieutenant Tobega Msahlo was Advocate Mosia. No, not advocate, but Warrant Officer Mosia, right? Mosia had confirmed that. Remember, it took about 4 hours before they can call the police. He confirmed that this time, the 4 hours was crucial for the gathering of evidence. So something might have happened in between. Now we're going to put all these things together. Everything that I've just told you, it's about a crime scene. Because the topic of this week, it's about the crime scene. So you've got how best can I put this thing? So you've got a police that responding to the crime scene. They don't find an evidence. Same place. The other one comes into the crime scene. They found an evidence. Same place. A place that has been searched by the previous one. So who are we supposed to trust now? That is where the defense now, that is where they are going. Remember, the responsibility of the state is to prove this case beyond reasonable doubt. So now the defense has been able to poke doubt, and today I was convinced. Yeah, well, not today. I was convinced that a lot took place in that crime scene. A lot took place in that crime scene. That crime scene was tampered with deliberately, so much so that they look at the people that were tampering with that crime scene. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they understood that even no matter how much you investigate, it's going to be difficult for you to gather evidence. And if it was in America, I will say we need the FBI, because FBI have got the best equipment in the world. They are the ones that could have easily cracked this case, you know what I'm saying, because they've got the best equipment in the world, at least from what we know. Not that we've got an evidence as well, because in court we work with evidence. So if there's no evidence that they've got best equipment ever, then why should we believe that they've got best equipment ever? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yes, that is what we saw today. Tomorrow we will continue. We are now waiting for Advocate Mshololo. The nice thing about Advocate Mshololo's cross-examination is this one. The current witness, Lieutenant, the current witness, Lieutenant Tobeka Mhlahlo, is very defensive and very evasive. Yeah, it's clear. So the style of questioning Advocate Mshololo, it's yes or no, which is the standard procedure of cross-examination, right? Because of that, I think and I foresee that we are to expect an excellent job that is to be done by Advocate Mshololo, because her questioning style is very unique and very interesting, right? But also we are dealing with a veteran here. This person is a veteran. Chances are she's been in and out courts. She understands exactly what is at stake. So we have seen her that she's really a veteran, even in the way she's answering the questions. Let's remove the arrogancy and the rudeness in her and the evasiveness. You can tell that this person is a veteran. Yeah, this person has done it for many years. She understands what is at stake. So she's one of the well-groomed witness. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting to see how women to women, how Advocate Mshololo will deal with her decisively. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be very interesting. But I'm hoping and wishing that tomorrow we have a great day. We've got an appointment, Exas. I'm not going anywhere. Guys, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Hey, I just wish load shedding doesn't do its thing. But other than that, tomorrow we've got a date. So guys, I wanna leave you with this. So I wanna sum it up by saying today we're just talking about two things: the packaging of exhibits, which Advocate Mnisi focused on that one, and then we focused on the evidence itself, how it was found. That was what Advocate Tulele Ngumalo focused on, and all the advocates, including Ramasipile. I'm gonna keep saying this. I have to say this time and again. Don't undermine the council. The council, they understand each other's responsibility, and in order to prove that, remember that there's an assertion that was made by Advocate Ngumalo, and the judge says, why are you making this assertion? Because you are not representing accused number 3. Accused number 3 is represented by Advocate Mnisi. And then he even answered and say, remember that whatever is said to accused number 3 affect my client accused number 4. Do you see that? You know what I'm saying? So in everything that I say, I have a right to say it. But in any way, Advocate Mnisi says, no, I agree with what Advocate Ngumalo is saying. So that's why I'm saying, if you're looking at them, they look, in this case, each and everyone has a department. When you will focus, Advocate Ramasipile focus on laying the foundation, the procedural. Advocate Mnisi focus on the packaging of evidence. Advocate Mnisi focusing on the packaging. Advocate Ngumalo focus on the exhibit itself. The question is, where do you foresee Advocate Ngumalo, Advocate Mshololo, to focus on then? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm interested to that. Oh, she's gonna focus on the credibility of the police themselves. Maybe she's gonna push us towards a certain direction. But it was quite interesting to see how the defense structured. You know what I'm saying? Over and above, I am sold as far as what the defense are doing in terms of poking the local poking this, because remember, the states have got an advantage, have got an upper hand. They collect evidence, they can do and plan things prior. Once they are done, they bring this thing to you. They already plan, they can plan this for 7 years back and then execute it maybe on year number 8, and you're supposed to compete with people who had all the time to prepare. So if you see the defense performing the way they perform in this short space of time, it tells you how much of work that goes behind the scene, how much they are preparing and all of those things. So I'm giving credit to the defense to say, for me, they've been able to poke this, and they've been able to show us that these people they are not loyal. They are not trusted. They are not to be trusted. I think they've done that job excellently. You know what I'm saying? I want to love and leave you here. So I'm interested to know, what are you going to be saying? What are you anticipating about Advocate Mshololo? And also, I'm interested to know if you have followed the case, if you watched the case. I'm interested to know what have you noticed, you know what I'm saying, that probably I didn't mention. But I was just mentioning the key important points that everything that was asked, it was about these 2 points. So what is it that you noticed that I didn't notice? Please say it in the comment section below. Guys, I love you. Please be safe.